Hi, everyone. I'm Arms Bumanlag from Royal LePage Binder Real Estate. It's another Friday, so that means another Ask the Experts. This is one of my favorite shows that we do for our brokerage, where we dive into our extensive list of preferred suppliers and preferred partners, people that we work with congruently to the awesome realtor service that you expect from Royal LePage Binder Real Estate, but hooking you up with experts in their fields to help you mitigate your new home, your new property purchase, and really illuminate a little bit about what our partners are doing right across Windsor Essex. So glad to have you along for the ride. And now we're thinking about, last week we were talking about what's underneath your house with basements. Now we're talking about what's on top of your house with roofs. And very excited to welcome Matt and Steve from Green Roof here in Windsor on today's show. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you today?
I'm well. Thanks for joining me today. And we got to talk about this because I think roofs are, my dad always used to say to me, he's like, you're lucky you got a roof over your head. I mean, when you take a look at that in terms of today's society, and you want to talk about keeping people safe and comfortable, and making sure that people are saving some money and thinking about the eco-friendly aspect, let's talk about your particular company and Bright Green Roof. What exactly is it?
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. And your dad was right. Having a roof over your head is a good thing. Arguably one of the most expensive things you will do to the home, other than putting an in-ground pool and such as that, is replacing the roof. So we teamed up with a company. We own a franchise here called Bright Green Roof, and really what it is 100% bio-based roof spray that goes over top of the roof and really it puts the oils back into the shingle. I don't know if you've ever noticed in the gutters if any granulars are coming off. That's your shingle falling apart. So what this does is adds the oils back in, puts a nice little layer, almost like a coating over top for the rain. So nothing will go back in, and really bringing the shingle back to the original state of what it is.
Yeah, to Steve's point, when the shingle comes from the factory, it has some oils that are put into it that allows it to be pliable. And over time, it loses its pliability and it becomes brittle. And you do start to lose those granulars, as Steve mentioned. So for lack of a better term, it is your roof ultimately falling apart. So what our product does is it restores those oils and kind of brings the roof back to life.
Hey guys, it's funny you should say that too, because I'm known in my neighborhood as sort of like the holiday nut. So Halloween and Christmas, I'm up on the roof. I'm putting stuff up there all the time. And we have a new build in Amherstburg, right? So we moved back out here in 2018. And I was up on the roof right around Christmas time putting a Santa up there. And I was looking in the gutter and I couldn't believe the amount of, like you said, granules. I look like large chunks of sand, essentially. So I was a little bit alarmed, and it's still a relatively new house, but this is beneficial, right? I mean, this, like you said, can protect the roof for years to come.
Yes, for sure. So what happens is, we have harsh winters and, really hot summers. So a good way to look at a shingle is when it gets super, super hot on the roof, over 100 degrees, then rain hits, the shingle will sort of expand and contract, mm-hmm. And then those granules will fall off. So really what this spray does is keeps that pliability into the shingle, just like it came out of the factory brand new. We usually like to place it between about 7 and 15 years. Sometimes when we get a phone call, the roof might be, a little past its prime, so we can't do it. But majority of the roofs that we've been doing so far, I've been blown away by how they look.
One thing I want to get more into the process on it in the next couple of minutes to talk a little bit about how this is really cost effective too. And something relatively new too. But what's interesting to me is, we've been talking about all the pivots people have been making over the last year because of the pandemic. This was born in the pandemic, right?
It was, yeah. So I'll take this one here, Steve. Now, what we found is, to your point, not a lot of people might be in a position now due to the pandemic financially to go through a complete roof replacement, which could cost upwards to $8 to $10 to upwards of $15,000, depending on the size and the pitch of the roof. Now, to touch on what you were asking, the price point, we're typically in and around the 15 to 20% of a typical cost of a roof replacement. So before now, there wasn't really an alternative to replacing your roof. You either did nothing or you fully replaced the entire thing. So now we're coming up with a more cost-effective, eco-friendly way to, preserve your existing roof, which we're finding is, saving a lot of our locals money throughout the pandemic.
Yes. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, guys, it's interesting you should say that too, because one of our first homes was a wartime house out in South Walkerville, right? So we bought it. It needed a little bit of work. And I remember the roof was always that thing that you needed to do, but you didn't know if you wanted to bite the bullet. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, maybe I get another year out of it, another year out of it.
No, for sure. And that's one of the things that sort of was stopping me to purchase one of these franchisees was the proactive approach. Not many people are proactive in the sense they wait for things to break and then they replace it or fix it. So really, this is a proactive approach, and it can be done every 5 years. So we do guarantee the roof for an extra 5 years, and it can be applied again after that 5-year mark, up to about 15 years that they've tested for over at the labs and at corporate. So it can extend the roof for, essentially 15 years to take that burden of that, huge chunk of change coming out of the bank.
Yeah, in your experience doing this, like, can you do any roof that's out there? Because I've seen a lot of houses that have the higher peaks or the dormers. Can you do those unique roofs?
Yeah, great question. We can. We do focus on predominantly asphalt roofs, but to your point in regards to the pitches and the unique ones, it's up to our discretion. If we don't feel it's safe for our team to do so, or that our spray application will look aesthetically pleasing, like we would like it to, then it's up to our discretion to say, you know what, maybe this isn't right up your alley. And to that point of the roof replacement and the time frame, like you said, Arms, some people might not want to bite the bullet. So we're not saying don't replace your roof. It's just essentially buying yourself some more time with, a bio-based solution.
And we're lucky in the sense that we have teamed up with a local roofing company. Not many franchisees owners have done what we've done by, integrating the bio-based spray with a roofing company. So a lot of the jobs that we have been doing are actually, replacing the ridge capping that runs across the top of the ridge, and then coming in and spraying the roof. So we are able to do those small repairs, any small leaks or anything like that, and then come in, spray the roof, and then matching, which is we find, and I'm sure people over at Royal LePage would find too, is the curb appeal.
Sure.
It's a huge factor. Buying or selling a house, people want to see that beautiful roof. It's almost comparable to a beautiful landscape yard. So that's one of the huge selling points, I think, personally, about this whole product.
If you're just joining the live stream or watching this after the fact on YouTube, my name is Arms. I'm joined by Matt and Steve. They are our experts that are on standby right now for you. Part of our preferred suppliers at Royal LePage Binder Real Estate. We love to work with companies that are really forward thinking and hit that mark where we need them to be in terms of being a preferred supplier. So Bright Green Roof, a cost-effective alternative to asphalt shingle roof replacement. And what was really interesting, what the guys were saying was up until now, the only option for home and business owners was to a full replacement for that aging roof. Like, as I say, bite the bullet, right? Businesses too, you think about a lot of the businesses that are working from home, people, doing sort of the e-commerce trade. You guys do business roofs as well, right?
Of course.
Is there a particular type of pitch that, you'd mentioned that it's kind of case by case basis, but are there instances where you can really say, okay, well, maybe at this point we're going to need to do X, Y, and Z to get this job done? Are roofs too far gone is what I'm saying.
Great question. Great question. So obviously safety is our main priority, but we're not just looking to make a buck. We have gone to a couple of quotes where the granule loss is a little bit too far gone. And we'll be candid with the client, hey, maybe you guys are more up the alley of a total roof replacement, because we don't want to just put a Band-Aid over a bullet hole, for lack of a better term.
And with our warranty, it only can see a certain granular loss before we can warranty, and we feel safe enough warranting the product. So, if the roof is too far gone, then we'd let the customer go. No, or, to be quite honest with you, we wouldn't even recommend this if you have a roof that's 5 years old. We see that sweet spot between 7 and 15 years.
Would you walk me through the process? I've had exterior home renovations done, and I know some contractors are a little bit more meticulous when it comes to the cleanup after the fact. Walk me through the process of what a homeowner can expect when you guys come out and start work.
Well, probably the biggest benefit of our service is that it's extremely efficient. It's typically, depending on the size of the roof, setup could take a little bit longer than the actual spray application. So we're in and out typically in 1 to 3 hours, again, depending on the size of the roof. But to answer your question, we make sure that we tarp everything off just to make sure there's no overspray. It is a 100% bio-based product, as we mentioned. So it is completely pet friendly and household friendly. If there's any sprayed on your plants, for example, if your dog was to chew on some grass, it would be completely fine. But we just like to err on the side of caution and make sure that we do get up our tarps so that everything's tarped off. And then afterwards, we do a thorough walk around with the customer to make sure that they're happy before we part ways.
And it does take, I would say about 5 to 6 hours to fully seep into the roof and dry. So there are some days, a windy day is almost, like a rainy day for us. And obviously we can't do it in the rain either. So there are some days, obviously, just like roofing companies, that we get some time off sometimes.
Of course.
Yeah, you're not up there in a torrential downpour, right? I mean, that's not going to be beneficial for anybody. You mentioned it's 100% bio-based, eco-friendly too. I mean, that's got to be a pretty big selling point for a lot of folks, I would think, because I think everyone's kind of looking at how they can reduce their footprint in terms of, Mother Nature.
You got it. So to be candid, the roofing industry itself generates about 14 million tons of waste throughout North America per year. So by being able to come in with a bio-based solution like this, it's going to just delay that inevitable. And it is 100% bio-based. So, one hand's washing the other. And like you said, that is the direction that most people are going with their homes, and, solar or whatever it is to, improve that carbon footprint of the future for North America.
And I think people are getting a lot more on board with the whole, lowering the carbon footprint, especially, the route that we're taking.
Yeah, and I think it's beneficial too. I mean, people looking at, sort of that preservation treatment and extending the life and even enhancing the color, like you said, in terms of, making it more marketable at that fraction of a cost of a replacement roof itself. So, what's interesting about this too is I'd imagine with this market, we've been talking on our other show that we do on Facebook Live with our realtors about how hot the market is and how people are trying to get the most value out of their home if they're putting it on the market. Are you seeing that sort of congruent with your business?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Actually, the last, I would say, 3 jobs we've done are for people that are actually selling their homes. So yeah, we've seen it, and the last 3 have been exactly what you've talked about. People that are wanting to put their house on the market, they want that curb appeal. Instead of ripping the roof off and spending X amount of dollars, we can come in there for 15% of the cost, and it looks like it's brand new.
Another question for you too, and I was just thinking about some of the roofs that I've seen over the years. I have a lot of friends that live in the old Walkerville area and old Riverside area. Sometimes the shingles do the curling, right? When those, can you guys fix that? Can that be applied to a shingle that's curled, the roof?
Yeah, of course. So great question. Like I was mentioning earlier, it does add the pliability back into it, so it will flatten out a curled shingle. However, there is that past the point of no return mark, where we'll just be vocal with the customer that, hey, maybe you're looking at the route of a full replacement if the shingles have incurred too much curling, but it will add that pliability back into them and help them flatten out.
Working with Royal LePage Binder Real Estate and our realtors and our salespeople as well. Tell me your experience working with us. Your experience, working with our teams and becoming a preferred partner and a preferred supplier.
Well, just like you mentioned, I think, buying and selling homes is all about the curb appeal, and, people are loving this product. Like we mentioned prior, our last 3 jobs were not indirectly, but, we don't know who's selling the house or buying the house, but
sure,
maybe Royal LePage is there down the line.
Yeah, and I think it's crucial too that you've got so many different people that are reaching out and trying to sustain their investment, right? They want to maximize their investment and maybe be able to plan for things down the road as well. You'd mentioned the turnaround time to get this done, the process as well. Is there a huge wait time if somebody wants to book you guys right now, or are you seeing an increase in service? What can we expect, or is that case by case?
Great question. So we are booked out a couple of weeks, but we do our best to slot individuals in when we can. Some of the things that might push our jobs would be like Steve was saying, a wind day is essentially like a rain day, or a rain day is going to kind of delay that. So we do have a handful of people in the pipeline to have services completed, but it's not a drastic turnaround time. We do what we can to fit people in, and we understand that there might be some urgency involved, especially when someone's looking to buy or sell. we want to get the job done for them and make our customers happy. So being time sensitive about that is obviously a very important aspect.
And it is a hard thing to control being a seasonal job, right? We only have that small little window where we have to fit everybody in. You know, we got about, what I would say, about 6 months here in Windsor that we can really apply this.
And another thing, speaking of seasons, right? So I get this done to my roof. I can expect the process and the product to withstand even the coldest of Windsor winters, right? And the seasons that come.
Yeah, it's been rigorously tested through corporate, in multiple locations. I think there's actually 2 places that do the testing on shingles, and they have been to both.
Yeah, they do basically simulations. They do simulations for wind, hail, rain, and severe storms, as the testing centers are in the southern states. So obviously their weather might be a little bit different than ours, but it's great. It's something, because Canadian winters can obviously be extreme. So like Steve was saying, with the expanding and the contracting of the shingles, it's important to protect them. And, we find that people will do everything to seal their driveway or their deck as a preventative measure to keep it around a little longer. So now, this product's here to do the same with your shingles.
So somebody's watching this, guys, and they're thinking, wow, this sounds like a really great option. What do you want to convey to them about the entire experience and the process that you guys offer?
Well, I'll just give them, our little background is, like I said before, we own a marketing company, and we started doing all their franchisees and rolling it out for them. And we seen the lift that they were getting. And I'll be honest on this call that, I was a little bit hesitant too, because I've never seen the product in action. But the first roof that we actually did it for Dr. Lou Vasato. He's a dentist on Wyandotte. He reached out to us. He's got a pretty big practice, and the roof was, about 15 years old. And the first time I applied it, I was amazed. It took the shingle and made it look like a brand new shingle. And every single time that we apply or I see a new house that we do, it just blows me away. So, I'm proud of the guys, and I'm so happy that we took this leap and did this.
Yeah. And I think one of the main things we'd like to relay to anybody watching is, this is new. So there's that educational aspect of what is this? So that's where we're happy to come out and meet anybody. There are no obligation quotes. It doesn't cost you anything for us to come out and have a peek at the roof. No pun intended. But yeah, so basically, it's really just a proactive approach and getting that educational aspect across, that there is an alternative out there that's not just ripping off and replacing the roof.
And that's one thing that's sort of been hard through the pandemic. I don't know about Matt, but me, I like to talk to people. I like shaking hands. I like looking in their eyes, and it's been hard to do that. So, we've tried different avenues. Obviously, with the marketing background, we've hit online very hard to sort of build awareness. We've got the billboards out there, and then, you guys are helping tremendously also.
Yeah, everyone's been great over at Royal LePage Binder. I appreciate everybody.
Well, we appreciate you guys, and I think that's part of our sort of strategy going forward is, I often say from a personal standpoint that you rise by lifting each other up. And I think if the pandemic has taught, hopefully, the world anything, or Windsor Essex something, is that, we can all work together and we can all benefit as a community. So when we have opportunities to highlight our preferred partners and suppliers, I think this is so beneficial from a brokerage standpoint, and certainly from the community connections and business standpoint that we offer from Royal LePage Binder Real Estate. I know the team is excited to have you folks on board, and I think it's a great partnership. So we're happy to have you on today's show. So hopefully we'll do this again. And I hope this piqued people's interest. There's one more for you. If they want to secure this service, they can certainly go to our website and find out more as well. So Matt and Steve, I appreciate your time today. Best of luck to you, and stay cool in these warm days ahead. Okay.
Thanks, Arms.
We'll get some golf in.
Let's say I'm down with that. Hey, and our golf tournament, by the way, coming up late August too for Royal LePage. So that's, yeah. Oh, well, I got you on record now. So we're going to send you up after the show. But the best part about the golf tournament is, as well, for Royal LePage, folks, if you're watching this, the proceeds go towards the Hiatus House here in Windsor. And they do some fantastic work with folks who are fleeing domestic violence here locally. So you can find more information on our Facebook page. To Matt and Steve and the entire team at Bright Green Roof, we appreciate your time. And we'll be back in a few weeks with more experts on Ask the Experts here at Royal LePage Binder Real Estate. Thanks for watching, everybody.